Hey everybody, this is Dimensions of the Supernatural. I'm Maureen Grodzinski of A Little Witchy, and this is my wonderful co-host, Anthony Seminelli, otherwise known as...
Forget about it.
Mr. Forget About
How
It.
you doing tonight, people?
So, as usual, this is our Thursday show from 7:30 to 9:30 East Coast time. We have a very, very interesting guest tonight. This is one of my favorite people to watch, and she has lots of light and love to give. She is known as the Good Witch of Hollywood, and she has lots more to offer. So, without further ado, we're going to bring her in with us. This is Betty Negri.
Hey,
Hi, everybody.
Betty, how you doing?
I am great. Thank you guys for having me on. This is fun.
We
Yeah,
are
it's
so
good.
excited to have you here, and this is one of my major dreams to have you here with us. I couldn't wait to meet you in person. Hi guys in the comment section. So if you have questions, please stop us and we'll absolutely bring you in. But Patty, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about how you got started and how you knew that you were the Good Witch of Hollywood.
Okay. Well, I live in Hollywood, so no, I've always known good. I don't like black and white, and that just means so many weird things. And good means a lot of things, and I'm good. But no, I knew I was different when I was a little kid. As soon as I could talk, as far as having the gift of sight, I was talking to dead people and spirits and entities and elementals since I could talk. So the medium psychic, and I think little kids can. It just gets taught out of most people in our Western non-mystical, non-magical society. It becomes your imaginary friend. But it didn't get taught out of me because my mom always go, "Yeah, Grandma did that too." And then on the witchy side of thing, I just have this connection with nature. At the same time, in my little suburban, Long Beach, LA home, I would be picking rosemary out of my mom's garden and mint and stuffing it in her wallet and just knowing it would help give her more money. She didn't exactly realize, like, what are you doing? It's like, no, this is money. She's like, no, it is not money. This is like dirt and leaves. No, it's, and then years later I study this and like, yeah, I was right all along. So it's just in the blood. I think I get it. Though neither of my parents by any means were like practicing. I think I've got it from both genes on both sides.
So that probably makes you stronger as a witch.
Yeah.
So do you consider yourself to be a green witch?
I try to be a green witch. I'm green as much as I can, but then what you get, my car still takes gasoline. So I think when you go, I am a green witch, to me that means you are really, really ecological. I try to be, but yes, I'm very definitely elemental in my work. I work more with nature, earth elements, even more than deities as a rule, especially because my work is public. Somebody may not understand the goddess Hecate, who I work with, but they will understand the strength of a tree with deep roots that hold you and branches that reach for the sky, the flow of water like a tear. People understand that when I work with non-magical people, because we're as of right now, we are on this planet. We are controlled by gravity, and nature might as well work with it.
Correct. I agree 100%. So do you believe that witches should follow the motto, do no harm?
I mean, as a oversimplified everything, yes. And only reason, not because of like good or bad or evil or this or that, but it's, anybody going to hell or ridiculous. But I do believe we live in the world we create. And I mean, I certainly do protective magic. I've done stuff that people would think, oh, that's not good. But if I just know people who go too far, it's a karma, kind of like karma, though karma is an Eastern concept, but there is cause and effect and action and reaction. So if I want to sit there around hexing people and cursing people, I could do it, probably be good at it. But now I live in a world of hexing and cursing, and I could be hexed and cursed. If I don't step into that world, I don't. If I send out blocks and this and wishing bad. I live in that world. If I have somebody who doesn't like me and I send them like love and light and get a better job so you don't have mine, that's what the life I live in. And it just seems a lot of people, unless they're really good at what they're doing, they're not nearly as happy as I am. All of a sudden, they get a little paranoia comes in, a little fear-based, a little anger-based, and I don't. And I just think it's because of where you're living.
See, I'm more of the paranormal investigator of this group. She's more the witchy one, so I'm going to ask the paranormal questions.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I live in both worlds.
Yes, I've seen that. I know you've been on a lot of investigations with, I see numerous people that are really great in this industry. Well, industry I'm calling it, but it's the paranormal world. But I mean, have you been on anything that because freaked you out that you didn't want to go back to, or just took you away from anything that you might like or something?
I've never seen anything that I say I wouldn't go back, because I like a challenge. I've certainly had things that are, and I've talked about some of this before, I guess not with your accident. I've had crazy things happen. I've had I've had my ribs broken. I've had, all the cartilage lipped off my ribs by the Black Dahlia killer. The doctor pushed me so hard into a chair. I was doing a seance once, and I had a cameraman literally burst into flames.
Oh my
because
God.
it got disrespectful. Yeah. I mean, we were at Marilyn Manson's house, but
I remember hearing that story with Marilyn Manson. That's interesting. Did he just blew into flames? Just went up?
Like a spontaneous combustion.
Like Spinal Tap, for anybody who knows that movie from way back when. Yeah, we were doing a seance there. This house, it was built by Charlie Chaplin. It has this whole history. It was built by creative people, and it was a party house forever, a super party house.
Well, Charlie Chaplin owned that apartment too. Charlie Chaplin lived in it also.
Charlie Chaplin built it for one of his girlfriends, Mary Astor. He had a bunch of houses in my neighborhood. He had a bunch of girlfriends, and he built a bunch of houses. And it was Charlie Chaplin. But it was a super party house. And then in the 60s, the Rolling Stones manager bought it, and the Stones stayed there. Mamas and Papas, Graham Parsons. So really creative, high vibration people live there. Then they moved out, and then the guy who invented the real life sex doll moved in. And it was a little spooky for him, and said also real sexual and spooky. And then he moved out, and then my neighbor for 7 years, Marilyn, moved in. And he recorded in the basement, talked about the house all the time. So this house, it looks like it was almost built by Masons, like sacred geometry. There literally is a compass painted in the floor as you walk in. Spiral staircases of 4 levels, 12 panes of glass, like everything is like sacred geometry. And 1920s, like old movie star house. So it wasn't demonic, because I think, demons get way too much credit, poor things. But cranky ghosts, big in life, big in death. And these were very theatrical ghosts. And they didn't like this one. I always say, be skeptic, that's fine. Try to be open, but you have to be respectful, because that's the only time that troubles ever happen.
I believe that too.
Just got disrespectful and was saying stuff. And at first, cool things were happening, really cool. Like the French doors flew open and everybody screams, like, and the cameras caught it. And the producer side of me is like, wow, we got some action going. And then that happened again. And then he said something else really stupid. And then speakers on the floor, like old school, how big can you get speakers hooked to like a record player, came on, and they sounded like a ghost box, like a ghost meter, a spirit box, all this white noise. We looked later, it wasn't even plugged in, but this energy was building, and I'm letting it go. It was a 4-camera shoot. So it's building, this tension is building. And then we're working with a Ouija board, which I really have safely used since I was 7 or 8. My first seance, I was 7. He said something really stupid, and not him, but the cameraman facing him just burst into flames, like a V up his back, like angel wings of fire up his back. 2 cameras caught it 2 cameras caught it. One camera started filming like the ceiling or the floor. You know, I guess you test the metal of a cameraman by a room bursting into flames. And then poor guy's wondering why everybody is screaming and pointing at him when his back is on fire. He didn't obviously catch it. But he was a super skeptic, but he was so intrigued by spontaneous combustion. He's like, I'm okay. I have a sweater, the shirt burnt off him like it should not have burnt off him. I've seen this blistering on his back. I'm like, oh God, this is not okay.
Wow.
This is not okay on my watch, on his lower back. But he wanted to continue. He was so intrigued. I knew the kid was not going to be a problem anymore because he was scared to death. He became the choir boy in the corner. It's like, okay, you're not going to talk. You're okay now. And I talked to the spirits. I said, come on, just let us finish. We're not even going to get rid of you. I'm not even going to shut the veil like I would normally do. It's your house. So we finished it. Some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen happen, like frogs quirking on and off cue, a glass flying out of a cupboard. And they still tried to push that same cameraman off a cliff. We're in a hill area. I had to make him this little mojo bag, but anyway, 3 weeks later, he's this beautiful filmmaker, Laurent Malachi, French Canadian. He's like, Patty, look at my back. Literally, where the scarring had been, it looked like he had got a tattoo of a dragon. Open mouth, sharp teeth, winged head into the shape of a serpent. You guys, that is the exact energy I called in to shut down the seance. I work dragon energy. It's crossroads energy. So I use dragons to shut down him being on fire. And there he is. I'm like, oh my God, you have a tramp stamp of a dragon on your back. That is about the coolest thing I have ever seen. And he thought so too. So again, happy. He wrote a script. They haven't done it yet. I don't know if they're going to. He wrote a script about this TV psychic medium who did every TV show, basically about me. I hope somebody fabulous plays me. But again, shooting yet another reality show, and then a portal opens. And it's one of those really funny and scary, the kind I like horror movie. He wrote it with Stephen Norrington, the guy who wrote The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and the Blade series. So if they do it, it's called The Portal. But I did sit down with him for 5 hours. I'm like, Laurent, you cannot say that on camera. He's like, but you said that. I go, I know I said that. That opens something. You don't want to be one of those cursed horror films, do you? It happens all the time. People don't know what they're doing. A spirit or entity or energy doesn't know it's an actor reading a line off a script when they're going, a la Santana, whatever. I'm like, no, let's change those words so the actors won't all die at 27. And it'll sound just as scary and spooky and witchy, but we won't open a portal to hell.
Yeah.
That's an awesome story.
Yeah,
I mean,
and true.
Being an investigator, I wish I was there just to catch it on film. You know, that's like the holy grail for an investigator.
Totally.
That's awesome. You know, things like that.
Because there are so many people that have issues on the movies. You know, on the movie sets. Like, look at what's her name? The girl from Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Oh, the Poltergeist, yeah. I mean, a lot of people died on that show before it came out. Yeah, all 3 series, the whole thing.
Yeah, no. Things get really good. Again, energy, spirits, whatever, don't know the difference. If you're sitting there going, "Hail Satan," or this or that, or opening, you're doing it. Especially method actors and the words, sounds coming out. I do a lot of Heka work. The sounds itself have the power. You know, even if you don't know what they're meaning. And
yeah, so some of those movies like you do watch, and it's like with they chanting they're chanting these different chants for like what was it, devil or whatever. And I always wonder, does the actor get affected after chanting that? And when they're not around anymore, you know, now they go to the next film, but do they get affected by some of that words, or is it attachment, or some, you know, like demonics might be whatever? I know demonic, like you said, it's overused on a lot of things, but
still,
like
but yes, and whether
a negative energy.
Yeah, it happens all the time. And again, more and more TV and film are getting smart, having consultants on, having occultists, witches, consultants, voodoo, whatever it works for their script, so that doesn't happen so much, but it happens. I work with YouTubers a lot. The overnight guys, Elton Pustay and Corey. They're like the #1 paranormal YouTube guys. And we opened we were on the roof of the Cecil Hotel, and we opened a Dybbuk box from The Conjuring.
Oh.
All hell broke loose. It's like, all right, guys, let's clear this up a little, shall we? From the cars getting broken into everything. It happens.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't think people understand that also. It may not be what you're saying, but it depends on the perception and the intention behind it. That can mean everything. You can say hi to someone, but if you're like, hi, that's
and cursing them inside your head.
Yeah. I hate this person. Hi. Hi can mean so much more than just hi. How was your day?
You
we watched.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. You talk. You're the guest.
No, I was just
you do the talk.
No. I was just saying, I have my which is Movie Coven, which is a little live, like a YouTube thing. And we talk about movies. And last night we talked about Rosemary's Baby, that 68
awesome
film
movie.
with Mia Farrow and John Cassavetes and Roman Polanski. Horrible things happened after that. And they are all there going, hail Satan, hail Adrian, hail, all this real chanting. His wife, Sharon Tate, a year later is, killed by the Manson people.
That's right.
Everything happened to people across the board there.
And the funny thing, that movie is so psychological. They didn't even show the baby.
No, you didn't have to. It was better that they didn't. It was like,
it was such a great, amazing movie.
Yeah. Well, back then movies were different too. They didn't show all this gore. That started like in the 80s, but back in the 60s and 70s, those movies sometimes are more scarier with that shock factor. Just let your mind think about it.
And that's what Polanski, he's a filmmaker artist. He's an artist, and what he did, you don't have to show it. And that's just the art of a filmmaker. And that was the first film without the big rules that they had, the movie rules that they had from the 30s on. So that's when films really did change. But yeah, I think it's much better. Like Psycho, when you don't see it, but you don't see as much scarier than you do see it. Yeah.
Like even the movie 13
and
Ghosts.
Black and white too. That was black and white in Psycho.
13 Ghosts. It was black and white. The original. The new one was great, but you couldn't compare it. The black and white version was great.
It made your imaginations. That was great back then. You mentioned something about Ouija boards. The last time you used one was you were like, what, 7?
No, I've been using them since I was 7.
You do use them? Oh, you've been using them. Yeah.
Yep.
Because I know a lot of private residents that I go to, and when they have a lot of activity, I find out somewhere along the line somebody in the house used a Ouija board. But I mean, I have no objections against Ouija boards, but they, when Parker Brothers made it into a game, you got too many people out there that don't know how to close them. And
you don't know how to use. I agree wholeheartedly. I don't think they should be sold in toy stores. It should be an adult purchase, and they should have a completely opposite set of directions. Like, this is not a toy. Again, it's you don't want to go. Anybody out there come in? You don't let anybody in your front door, right? Serial killers, rapists, murderers. You be real specific. You open up, shut it down, know your protections, set up a sacred space, and that's what you get. But
how do you shut it down? How do you shut it down properly? So, I mean, I don't know, and that's why I don't say. I don't touch it.
But again, and if you're afraid of something, don't touch it, because your fear will make it that. It's funny to me though. People who are, if you're afraid, if I'm doing a seance and somebody is not comfortable with it, Hollywood made it scary. It cracks me up, because people who will use pendulums or dowsing rods, but they won't use a Ouija board. Exactly the same. It's just tools. It's just tools. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, the Ouija board, the reason I don't use it because I don't know how to shut it down properly. I'm not afraid of it, but I don't want to leave something open.
It's all intent.
You know what I mean?
Setting up
intention and perception again and again.
Yeah. Because I know even the equipment that we use, invites things in, our EMF meters and everything else. Because you're inviting something to actually interact with something that you have. So
Yeah.
I know
I-
it's all
Anthony,
attentions. Yeah.
Your shower, your toilet, your mirrors, your doors, all of those things are letting things in because they're portals.
Yeah. And
Mhm. I
a
know
spirit, a K2 meter is the exact same as a Ouija board. It's a tool to talk to spirit, to open up as a portal, line of communication with spirit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm not afraid of it. I just don't want to open something up that I don't know how to close. But I have used dowsing rods in the past, and I have used other, pendulums. I'm not too much with, but I'm more into the paranormal. I've been doing this over 40 years, so I came through starting with dowsing rods at the age of 13, and compasses to get some readings to what it is now.
Yeah.
So it has come a long way.
I love dowsing rods. Yes.
I do too.
Yeah.
No,
I think they're fun because you can use them to, find water. You can use them to find spirits. You can use them to speak to spirits. There's a lot that you can do with them.
You use them to find your keys that are lost.
Ah, they're amazing. Same thing with pendulum. I mean, like.
Can it help me find my money I lost?
Maybe.
It's your own problem if you were at the casino.
That I lost at the casino or something?
Yeah. Good luck.
It's not going to play Russian roulette with you.
Russian roulette. Yeah, six bullets, huh?
Patty, don't you think that, like, if as he was talking about that, this brought a good question up. Don't you feel that your abilities are not going to help you to win the lottery because they're not used for that purpose?
Exactly. I don't. And I know some psychics say you can or will, then why is everybody psychic, not a millionaire woman? And it's not about numbers, because it's that's just not a right use of your gift. That's like the cheating. I don't like the word cheating, but I have been given equal things. I have literally been given an iPhone code because this young guy passed away, leaving his young wife and a young kid. And there they sat with his iPhone and they didn't know the code. And the spirit gave me a code. He could have gave me there's not going to give me a lottery number, but he gave me the code. Just recently, a spirit gave me a safe so the family could get the stuff out.
I got that.
They can be practical. Yeah.
I went to the beach,
awesome.
And the minute I was given these people were wonderful, and they were just really welcoming, and they seemed like family. And I walked into our room, and when I was unpacking. When I turned to look, there was this surfer dude walking out, and he had the straggly jeans at the bottom from walking on the too long, and longer hair with the Hawaiian shirt, and it was kind of opened up with a tank top underneath it. He kind of gave me like the vibe, And in my head, I heard him talking to me, and he was like, dude, hang 10. And he was living there. He was still living there. And I realized that if he was living there, he must have had an ownership, or he was a manager or something. So I went to the desk and I said, Kathy, I hate to bother you, but there was this guy that I saw, and this is what he looked like. And she went, oh, he did own it. And I said, well, he gave me these numbers, and I don't know, it seems like it goes to a safe. And she said, no one can unlock the damn thing. And I said, you need to go into the safe because there's something left behind. And it was like thousands of dollars that were just sitting there. And they were struggling trying to open the safe so that they could renovate the place, which was so freaking awesome. I was like,
isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, that is good. I love practicality with spirit, not just butterflies. And
I mean,
that's
people
awesome.
could just get, Aunt Sarah said, hey, use baking soda. But
which is fine when she does, and she will.
Yeah. I like those things though. Like, these people were really great people, and they were trying to do the best they could to keep this running. But, he was murdered there, and he really wanted it to flourish, and he liked that they were doing what they were doing with it. And it was amazing that they got that gift from him. So
that is beautiful.
Yeah. I
That is
love
great.
it.
So he probably saw you. He saw you had the site, and because they will find us out, if they're ghosts walking down the street, they see your neighbor and they're a big skeptic. They see your next guy over there asleep at the wheel. They see you. It's like, oh, Maureen.
Yeah, we're like beacons, We're wide open.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite part of your abilities? Like, do you like helping people one-on-one? Do you like to do gallery readings? Do you like to go out on investigations? What do you feel is your favorite part?
Yes. I think I like that it's all of it, because if I did the same thing every day, I love my private clientele. I love my private one-on-one and helping people. I love working because I work with so many influencers and YouTubers, and they're so young, and I love that, from like 14-year-old up. I work with Awesomeness TV a lot. I love, of course, going on investigation because I'm still an adventurer like you guys. Let's go see what we're going to see at the asylum and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I love teaching. That's why we started the school last year. I absolutely love teaching, whether it's mediumship development, spell casting, psychic protection. And then of course I'm a ham. I like being on stage, whether it's a seance for 60 people or we're doing I'm gallery for 1,200 people at a casino, because I like getting scared in the good way. Like, what if I get nothing today? I like a challenge. So I'd be hard pressed if somebody said you only get to do one of those things. I'm like, no. I have to manifest that I get to do all of those things. I like travel, and I travel all the time, and I love it.
Do you come to the East Coast much, or just
this year? I've got Massachusetts Paracon. I've got New Orleans is the East Coast. Concord a few times. Last year I did upstate New York. They're not doing that one this year. They're bringing it over here. I do. I get to Salem a lot. I get to New Orleans a lot. I'm going to next week Wisconsin. I'm so bad at geography. I'm like, is that the East Coast? That's in the middle somewhere. I go to the middle a lot.
Yeah.
I just got back from.
Yeah, we'll see you at the Mass.
I know.
That's
gonna be awesome.
Great. At Shoot Paracon.
Yeah, that was really.
That's gonna be good.
I was in Salem, and I literally missed you by one day.
Really?
1 day. Yes.
1 day.
Yeah. And I went into Vamp Fangs, and I had the dogs with me, and they were just loving on the dogs. And they said, can we borrow them for a second so that we can go into the corner of the shop? And we want to see if there's something or someone in the corner of the shop, because there's definitely something here. And I said, oh yeah, there is. And they kind of looked at me weird. And I said, yeah, I definitely feel something. And I don't feel that it's negative. I feel like there's definitely someone here. Someone had a heart attack, and it was a male. And, the girl was walking me around the store while everybody else was playing with the puppies. And they were so welcoming and sweet. And they said, you do know that Patty Negri and Father Sebastian were here yesterday. And I'm like, 1 day.
1 day.
1 day. And I also missed Nick Roth and Tessa. They were there to get married. And they were in the Ouija board museum. And I missed them by hours.
You got to just stretch your trip out 1 day.
No, 1 day. That's all it was. So I missed everybody.
That was last year, not this year.
Yeah.
This year, good time.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Do you ever go to Gettysburg? You've been to Gettysburg?
No. And that is like one of the top places on my bucket list. And I don't know why. Because I'm not really big on war or battle. I'm not really big on history or the South. I have no idea why I'm so drawn there. I mean, I probably was there or something, in a different life, because I don't know why I want to go to Gettysburg so bad. But I haven't.
We'll go be. Yeah, we're gonna be. They have the Battlefield Bash. We'll be there at the Battlefield Bash this year again. We have the table and we stay there. But yeah, it's an awesome place, and I've been going there since 2010. Like every year, like once or twice a year, and it's never disappointing. I call it the candy store. I call it the candy store for the paranormal because
It's amazing.
guaranteed.
It's so
Even if
much
you're a
fun.
skeptic, you get questions like, what was that?
You would love it, Patty. It's so much fun. Everybody has such a great time, and there's so much love there. And it's literally, it's like a candy store. I mean, everyone there has so much happen. And here's my plug. So Santiago Cirillo, he makes amazing hats. And then there are people who have all kinds of paranormal equipment. There are people who are selling books. Sam Baltrusis is there. And
love Sam.
Yeah, he's awesome. And like Dave Schrader's there, and Shane Pittman, and Porter and Stephanie Burke are there, and April Doucette is there, and we all just go and we hang out, and then there's conference rooms with all kinds of speaking events, and then there's a metaphysical panel. I'll be speaking on the 15th.
I'm sorry, I gotta go do something second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Got to do my son. He's buying a con. I gotta sign something.
But the speaking events are amazing because everyone has a different subject. So like one year it was canines in the business of finding paranormal evidence. Ron Iacovetti, he spoke about the ITC with the white noise and how he uses his machines. And it's just amazing to see how people, they do all the same things, but in different ways. And it's
in different ways. Yeah. Like the artists that they are. That is awesome. When is that event?
That one is the 14th to the 16th of July. It's usually in August, but they decided to change it and back it up a month. So it's going to be, the theme this year is Christmas in July. So there's going to be karaoke and like ugly Christmas sweater events, and there's contests and dancing and party. So there's like VIP events afterwards where they have parties and there's drinking and cigar bars, and it's a lot of fun. It really is.
It sounds like a fun one. Yeah.
Yeah. The last one was, there was an 80s party. So everybody dressed up in their 80s clothes, and there was like, lots of dancing and drinking and whatever. And it's so much fun. And during the day when everyone's doing their tables and whatever, they, Santiago's screaming at the top of his lungs what was made for that time, because it goes towards the Wounded Warrior program and children with cancer. So that's where all the proceeds go to, which is awesome.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
I think you would really love it. It would be a lot of fun.
I would love it. Yes. I would definitely look into it.
So Patty, does the word Shadowland mean anything to you? Someone that looks very much like you appears in the November 1921 issue. Would that be a past life for you?
I know who I was at that time, and I was a Hollywood person. Who is it that I look like? No, I don't know Shadowland, but I know weirdly who I was. Somebody who was in Hollywood. She was a silent film star. Her name was Barbara Lamar. So I don't know who's in that magazine. She didn't necessarily look like me, except she had my eyes and she had my lifespans and stuff. She was born, she sadly died at 30. I was born 30 years later. I really came into my power at 30. We have the same like little karmic things going on. But please tell me, who is it that I look like? And I found her house. Like at first, I always really do kind of start out skeptic-y. Like, yeah, everybody was Cleopatra, but I didn't know I just knew she built a house in the Hollywood Hills, like a half a mile from mine, but I didn't know where it was. And there's hundreds of thousands of houses. I picked it out and didn't know. And somebody showed me later that was the house. I got to go in years later. I knew every inch of it. And so yeah.
They do say that your past life is kind of similar to your life now. You kind of look similar. You have the same personality in certain ways. So that would make sense. I mean, if you're,
Hollywood girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is a bunch of similarities of issues and baggage and this and the good and the bad. And but yeah, she looked like all the stars of the day in the 1920s. They all looked like Clara Bow. They all had pale skin and short cropped hair and big red lips. So I should try to dress like her sometime. I've got pictures of her all over.
You could be her for Halloween.
And then, yeah, I could be her for Halloween. I should do that sometime. But I'm always in New Orleans for Halloween for the Vampire Ball. But I could probably be Vampire Barbara Lamar at the Vampire Ball in New Orleans. Hey, just put on the wig and the fangs. Sorry, my dog is going crazy because I think
mine have been going nuts all day. There's something going on with the atmosphere. I don't know what's happening. We've seen weird things happen.
Because my husband's outside.
They're just going crazy for him.
What kind of dogs?
I have a part husky, part Pomeranian, so it's a Pomsky. He's huge. Then there's a pit bull and a Chihuahua mix. Don't ask how that happened. And then the other one is a Pomeranian Chow mix.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are you had fun with mixes?
Yeah.
I have a dachshund. One little dachshund, long-haired dachshund, and then one little crazy rescue cat, a little calico girl. And they're best of friends. They tumble and kiss and play.
Family. We have a bunch of cats, and they're all sweethearts. But they have their own personalities, like most cats do. We have the black cat coven in the basement. They just all So
yeah,
I think. Yvonne. Oh yeah. Oh, Yvonne is here.
Is Yvonne here?
Yeah, she is. Hi, Yvonne.
Hi, Yvonne.
I love her.
I do too.
She's a little crazy lady.
Which is why one of the many reasons I love her.
I'm saying.
See, I don't know how to get into the chat room. I'm not. It's okay.
I don't know from like that end if there is a way to do that.
If I logged in, I could, but it's okay. I don't want to hang up by accident because technology is not my strong suit.
Yeah, I'm not great with it myself, but we can still talk to them as we see it.
Yeah.
So you knew that you were different when you were a child. Do you remember the first thing that you? Oh, Ron Iacovetti said Patty is one of the most positive contributing forces in the field of paranormality. Definitely work with her if you get the opportunity, folks.
Oh, thank you, Ron. That is so sweet. Wow.
Ron, I'll wait for my compliment later. He really is the sweetheart.
In New Jersey, I'm looking at Marianne. Hey, Marianne, I have not yet done the New Jersey Paracon or the Pennsylvania Paracon because I'm West Coast. I've met Vulture City and I met all the Virginia City and I met Nevada City and but I've been working my way east, but I have not yet done New Jersey, which I'm sad about, or Pennsylvania, which I'm sad about, or anywhere in Gettysburg.
You should come to Gettysburg. I'm telling you, you would love it there. You would really love it.
I know.
Pamela Berry, if you're watching, we need to get Patty Negri to Gettysburg.
Yes, please.
So do you remember the very first thing that seemed different to you? Was it something that you saw as far as a spirit or a spirit guide? Did you see, were you able to like move things? Were you aware of changes that you can make in things? Like, do you remember that?
I just remember talking to my friends, my special friends, and almost cliche, like there was this interesting creature literally in the closet, like all the fear of little kids and the little like kind of, I think I worked a lot of elementals under the bed. What anybody would say, oh yes, imaginative child, but it wasn't. And I would get real information. I was extraordinarily shy. And I played in my room for hours and hours with my dolls, my little stuffed toys. I had these little rubber animals, which I'm still playing with little rubber animals, and had this whole world. I look now and I went, wow, okay, these were ghosts. Yes, they were probably elemental and different kind of spirits. Yes, were they extraterrestrial? Maybe. I don't know enough there, but it was. And I would do these like puppet shows out the window. I just knew stuff. They would give me information, but I just didn't know not everybody did that. I really didn't. I didn't know it was different until I was over.
I think that's how I was as well. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I thought everyone was the same way and they were all capable of having the same abilities, or they were just normal. It was normal for me as well.
Yeah.
And I thought everyone would do the same thing. So it was no different.
And it should be. And hopefully we'll go back to it. We have to let kids develop that. Again, it's our modern Western society. We made everything be left brain and logical, and 1 + 1 = 2. And we have to have that creative right brain. We have to, like, just not even paranormal stuff. My local grade school, a beautiful 100-year-old grade school, been in LA for over 100 years, but nobody from the Hills sent their kids there because the school was horrible. It was in the worst 10% of school. So if you're in this Hill House, you're going to send your kid to private school. My neighborhood said, I don't even have kids. They go, is that the person that I look like? Who is it? Can you read it?
It's Ruby DeReamer.
Ruby DeReamer. I wonder if I knew her. I'm going to write that down.
It's RUBYE. And then it's DE and then REMER. And you do kind of look like her.
Wow.
I want to apologize for running out. I had to take care of something with my son. So.
Yeah, thanks for bailing on us.
I'm sorry. I was like, well, you guys probably didn't miss me because you guys talk the same language.
We missed you.
We talk Richie.
So anyway, the school was doing bad because they took all the art out of the school. We brought in, I'm on the board of the Arts Council, and we brought in art classes, dance, photography, drama, and the math and reading and writing scores went up. We have to be balanced.
Yeah. I think that, there should be, like, University Magicus. Why not have that for kids? Because there are so many kids that, like, I didn't have someone to mentor me as a kid. I was the weirdo. Yes, we are the weirdos, mister.
We are the weirdo. Yes, we are the weirdos. We say proudly.
But, there should be something where kids should feel comfortable if they have something that's different about them. And when I would talk to my parents about it, I would say, I don't want to go to church. I don't feel like I belong there. I feel very awkward there. I think it feels strange for me to go in there, almost like, I was going to burst into flames, but they forced me to go, and it felt really strange, and it got worse and worse. And I didn't have someone to mentor me or answer my questions. I was told to shut up and it's not normal and it's whatever. I wound up having to go to Catholic school, and that just made it worse and worse and worse because it felt like, oppression. And now I'm helping people who are usually young kids, and I've had parents come to me and say, can you please tell my child that this is normal, or it's going to get better, or it's going to be easier, or whatever the case may be. And I do say, it may not get easier, but there is someone here who understands you. So if you do need help, please come to me.
Yeah. No, kids need kids. Yeah, I agree. And it's good that you did that. Again, like I said, I work with a lot of young people too because they're so open, they're so bright. And to shut down the world just hurts everything.
Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
lot of light there that they have.
Maybe we will
Yeah.
have a University Magicus children's course every once in a while.
That would be
I think we should.
awesome. I would love
I
that.
do work. I'd like you work with kids a lot. People that, all of a sudden they think the kid's crazy because they're hearing voices. It's like, no, they're hearing voices. I hear them too. This is what.
Yeah, I truly believe that a lot of people who are diagnosed with some kind of mental disorder, it's actually not a mental disorder. It is, something that's supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started experiencing things since I was 3 years old, seeing things. And growing up, that's during the 60s, 70s, and those eras in an Italian home, you don't talk about things like that. And then I went to Catholic school and everything. So, I was not told to say anything until I got older. And then when I got older, I was like, I don't care what people think anymore. But when I did talk, I had people within the original, the community, like, oh, he's crazy. There's something wrong with him. Oh, he's on drugs. And, that's why when I come across kids, I see at Paracons and they come over, they come over to my table. I have a whole conversation and I tell them, anything you want to talk about, I go to their parents and say, if they have any questions, I love helping kids because I know how it is to have those experiences and not anybody to talk to. Most of the paranormal, I've been doing this over 40-some years, and I was never taught by anybody. My family, nobody was into this, and I had nobody to talk to. So a lot of this stuff I learned was pretty much on my own. And then later on, I seen shows on TV and stuff like that, but not, not till later on, like 2004 was in the shows. But during these, I was 13 years old when I seen my first full body apparition in the cemetery because my Glendale, where I was from, Glendale, New York, surrounded by 9 cemeteries. So we used to go into the cemeteries, and that's why I first see my first apparition. And that's at that time I was more curious. I was scared, but I was curious. That's when I started with the dowsing rods and a compass. And my dowsing rods were the old. You remember the wire hangers for the coats? I bent those up. That was my dowsing rods back then.
Yep.
I came from a poor family. And I walk in the cemeteries, and people thought I was crazy doing my stuff. Yeah.
Well, you're crazy, but not like that.
Yeah. So that's why I like talking to kids. Oh, those are the ones that light up?
I love these light up ones. Because spirits really do tell you what color they like. It's like, I don't like green. I want red. I want whatever. They're a Red Sox fan. I love these because it's really good on investigations when you're in the dark or in seances when you're in the dark. So these are my best, baby.
Yeah.
Aren't we all in the dark? Really?
We're all in the dark. Yeah. But you don't want to put your eye out,
Like when I give tours at certain locations, the kids there, I always hand them like my thermal cameras or something big, and they enjoy it, and especially when they start getting something. Then you explain how to use the equipment and stuff like that. So because a lot of things they learn is off TV, right. And they don't explain things to the fullest on some of the equipment and everything. So you always talk to the kids. So I'm always for the kids with helping them out. Try to understand what's going on.
They're going to have a really rough time when, it's left up to them and their parents aren't teaching them what they need to teach them. And then they're the ones that have the strongest abilities and they're just like shooting flames out of their hands. And
kids do all these, whatever you want to call them, the crystal children, the star children, the this, that, all these different words that they have. They are not like us.
No,
they're other magical beings with, I
mean, I'm watching my son and he's way more powerful than I ever was. And now he has a son and I'm like, I can't wait to see what this kid comes up with. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Amazing.
I was reading some of your bios and stuff. In 2012, 13, you were voted the #1 psychic medium in the United States.
Yeah, there was this.
That's
I don't know where it came from. Times Square Press. There was like 3 years in a row. There was this contest, and I got top psychic. I got top spellcaster once. I got top medium once, and it was international. You were up against people we've absolutely never heard of, like in India or in Africa or in Paraguay. It was pretty cool, and there's all these books on it. So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, when I read that, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
Yeah, that was
you just
cool.
won an award. Didn't you just win an award recently?
Yes,
I'm seeing that too. That's you.
Yeah. At the Parapod Awards, I was up for 2 awards, a Parapod Festival. It was a paranormal convention and a film festival and a podcast. I was up for 2. I was up for my podcast as Best Spiritual Podcast for the Witching Hour, and I was up for Best TV Psychic Medium. I really didn't think I was going to win either. I thought if I had any chance, maybe the podcast, though I really like the other 2. And then I didn't think I'd win the TV one because I was up against Chip Coffey, who's the old guard, been around forever. And he had, he had a psychic kid show, which I love Chip.
Yes.
He's had a bunch of his own shows. And then I was up against Tyler Henley. So I had the old guard and the new kid.
The new kid on the block.
Yeah,
I love
the kid on the block. So, but I didn't win for podcasts, but I'm really, the girl who did win was great. Her name's Colby Rebel. She's had her show like 10 or 12 years longer than mine. So she deserved to win. And then I just think, well, I'm not going to get an award. I'm here. But yeah, all of a sudden they said Best TV Psychic. There's my little, it's an alien.
Congratulations.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
I know.
Oh, yeah, you can see the alien mice.
It's an alien with a film canister on its head.
Yes.
Here's the thing, though. You were put in a group with some amazing, amazing people.
Mm-hmm.
That's
enough
right there.
Yeah, no, that's what I was figuring. I was so shocked. I didn't have anything prepared. I got up and I was just going, I'm speechless. I've never been speechless in my entire life since I was a little kid. And I just like, thank you. I just was not ready, did not expect it. So I just ended with my one thing. I only have one thing to say. Witchcraft works.
Congratulations.
But I did not do
That's
spellcasting for that. But I do spell. I have my thing to show people. My whole thing really, like you asked me what my favorite thing to do. It's my favorite thing to do in whatever medium it is, whether it's one-on-one or TV or live audiences or writing. I just signed a new book with Llewellyn. We're part of another book with another publisher. My whole thing, what I really like to do is remind people how powerful we are. As we look at the world, everybody gives away their power. That's the thing about being in the witchcraft world. We take power back. We don't, okay, whatever you tell me to do kind of thing. So I like reminding people of that. So to do, and how I came into it, that 30-year-old thing, when I didn't die like Barbara Lamar, I was told by 30, because I had some health issues between 15 and 30, a drug my mom took. So by the time I was 30, I was told that if you make it to 50, you probably won't make it to 50. You have all these kind of cancers and all these female cancer carcinogens, and you have a tumor in your head and your pituitary, it's causing blindness. You have 5 fractures in your back because all your hormones are messed up. So if you make it to 50, you probably won't. You'll be in a wheelchair. And I'm like, and I was a dancer. I'm like, no, I'm not buying any of that. I gave up getting sick at 30. I gave up. Does she have lupus? We don't know. Does she have fibromyalgia? Any autoimmune disease, I think, is just imbalance and can be gotten rid of like that. I see it every day. So anyway, so I decided and I gave up getting sick. So at 50, instead of being dead or in a wheelchair as promised, I'm like, I'm going to try out. I'm in the middle of Hollywood. Remember, I'm going to try out for the world's hardest obstacle course. I'm going to try out for Wipeout. I've got pictures of me on the big ball, because somebody who's supposed to be dead or in a wheelchair, I'm like, they literally tell you you beat over 100,000 people to get on to do the hardest, most painful, scariest, most empowering thing I ever did, the world's largest obstacle course. And I did it. And it was so scary and so empowering. I'm like, oh my God, witchcraft works. I use witchcraft not to hurt anybody else, but just to spotlight me. And I got to the top. And that was so empowering. I go, oh my God, I have a new hobby. What should I do next? And I've done the physical thing. They won't let me in the kitchen. My husband, I got kicked out of home ec in high school. My husband won't let me cook. I can't boil water. So I'm going to cook for Gordon Ramsay. Next thing I know, I beat another over 100,000 people. At the audition, there was 5,000 people at the LA Convention Center and every convention center across America. MasterChef season 3, I am making a fool of myself as I enjoy doing cooking for Gordon Ramsay, Joe Bastianich, and Graham. And again, I did not last long because I don't know it, but I got exactly what I wanted. And witchcraft works. And then I decided, oh my God, this is such a good hobby. What can I do now? I did the physical thing that I'm not supposed to do. I did the thing that I'm really bad at, cooking. What can I do next? Well, I mean, I've been a master of many things. Like I'm a dancer, I can't sing good. And I was looking at America's Got Talent and I went, okay, I'm going to get on America's Got Talent. Next thing I know, I'm rolling on the floor again, making a fool of myself with Howie Mandel psychically reading his dog. Again, they tell you beat way over 100,000, and I beat over 100,000 talented people. I wasn't talented. Witchcraft works. And I didn't pick anybody else to get there. So I haven't figured out what my next thing is, but I'm working on it. Because I've done the physical, I've done the.
Well, you were actress also. You worked with some amazing stars, Sly Stallone. I mean, I was looking down the list. I'm like, holy cow!
I know he's so.
You worked
cute.
with some.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone gave me my SAG card on Rocky 3.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He was brilliant. I was really young and I was a Rocky girl. I was one of those girls in shorts when he went crazy at the thing. And I was basically a fancy extra. And my mom always told me you could do anything, but she did say, except maybe sing. But he said, and Sylvester Stallone goes, I need a backup singer. Who can back me up here? And there was like 200 people. This was huge class. Nobody raised their hand. I'm like, excuse my language, fuck it. I'm like, oh God.
Do it.
And he came up to me and he goes, back me up here. Take it back, baby. That song from Rocky 2 or Rocky, take it back. And I did it. And he goes, she's got it. And then all the other 200 people raised their hand. And the producers,
it's too late.
Excuse me, thank you. And the producer said, well, no, pick somebody who's already a union member, because that's a big thing in Hollywood, getting your union card. Because you can't have your union, you can't have a job unless you're union. You can't get in the union unless you have a job. It's a closed circle. So, but he stood up for me badly. He goes, no, she spoke up first, even though there's already union people who could do it. So I practiced with his brother Frank Stallone all day. We sang. I think I'm on the album. They totally, in the movie, you see me for mere seconds, but they cut us out. They played Eye of the Tiger over it. So you don't hear me sing, but I get checks almost weekly from that movie because they play it constantly. Residual checks. I mean, they're little most of the time. Free TV, pay TV, pay on demand TV. Practically weekly checks from Sylvester Stallone.
Take those royalties where they come. Yeah. I mean, I was like going down the list of what everybody you did. What movies that that we might? I know you were all these famous people, but what movies besides?
Not that many movies. I mean, I did like big parts in little movies and little parts in big movies. Josh Duhamel was the cute. He was so great. He was there with this little kid, and it was a baseball movie. And what was cool about that? And I can't even think of what it was called. It was just a couple of years ago. The cool part about that, it was a small part too. I got to play Ernie Hudson's wife. Ernie Hudson, he's from the original Ghostbusters. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I met him. He's a nice guy.
You're a Ghostbuster. I mean, you're a real. I'm a ghost hunter of a different kind too. But you're a Ghostbuster, so I'm like, I'm totally fangirling. It
Oh,
was
that's
like the
cool.
world's smallest part, but you do it for the joy of what you're doing. Yeah,
You enjoy
Yeah,
something.
you bet.
Yeah. That must have been
you're
awesome working with those people. You know? Yeah. So
Yeah, everybody.
you probably have a lot
I
of
remember
stories.
like Martin Sheen was. I do,
Mhm.
and I did more TV than film. I did a lot of episodic TV, a lot of Universal shows,
Mhm.
like the one that it was the redo. They brought it back in the late 80s or early 90s of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, but this was like a special one. Burt Reynolds directed it. I got to work with Martin Sheen and Robbie Benson and Parker Stevenson and just all stars and little me, nothing.
Oh, yeah.
I was so scared. I like to get scared, but I'm like, I'm not even going to be able to talk. I had this small secretary role, but Martin Sheen came up to me. He's like, just relax, Patty. Just have fun. We're not doing brain surgery here. We're playing make believe. I'm like, thank you, and I relaxed into it. It was wild.
I love how you did that too. Like, because it could have been somebody who was pompous and arrogant and been like, hey, get with the program.
Right. No, he was just, and those beautiful Sheen eyes of his, those Martin Sheen eyes of his, it just melted me. It was great. And again, most people in Hollywood are so sweet, truly. Again, those early days when I was the kid in Hollywood, my claim to fame, I was a lava girl on Fantasy Island. I was, I was the girl that that ran around with putting lays when people got off the plane and giggling and with a little sarong and a little bikini top and brought the champagne. And Ricardo Montalban was one of the sweetest men I had ever met. Just sweet. I was the lowest girl on the totem pole, a lava girl, the bikini girls, but he would eat lunch with us and he'd talk. He'd remember my name. He'd remember the name of my dogs.
That's nice. That shows that he's a regular guy. He doesn't think he's above you. Just a regular guy that's hanging out. That's awesome. I've probably seen you on. We've probably seen you on all these shows because everything you're mentioning. I'm a movie buff. I like movies and stuff like that. And of course, who didn't watch Fantasy Island when that was out?
I know. I did a year on Fantasy Island, and to work for Aaron Spelling shows was great because you didn't do TV is long hours, just like paranormal. But TV is an average 12+ hour day, but not an Aaron Spelling show. You worked 8 to 6. So I spent like a year as a lava girl, and then I moved to I don't know which order, and then I worked for a year on the Love Boat, also Aaron Spelling, which was like 2 days a week. I would be like boarding the boat. I'd be walking with Anthony one time, change your hat, put on a serape. Then I'm walking in with Maureen the next one. And 20 people would pretend there's 600 people. And then 2 days a week we'd be by the pool, and I'd either be a waitress by the pool or bathing by the pool. And then 1 or 2 days a week we'd be the formal dining when remember everybody got dressed up. But I got to meet, because everybody did that show. That was the first show when they were doing cameos, from Carol Channing to all these old stars. Yeah. It was just the best education anybody could ever have into Hollywood.
Oh,
awesome. I love that.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, those are the shows we used to hang out and, come from the bar and watch the reruns, or the shows. Like, they play the show later on that night, and you come home from the bar, like, hey, let's watch this. Those I mean, I've probably seen a lot of the shows that you've been in. Like I said, I've probably definitely seen you.
Yeah. Again, born and raised in Hollywood, it is. And then complete turnaround with that, because Aaron Spelling was my enter to Hollywood when I was just barely of age. And then a couple years back, he had the biggest house in Beverly Hills of Hollywood. I don't know, 50 bedrooms, and the most expensive house, $50 million or $150 million. And this was years ago. I had to get his ghost out of that house recently.
Really?
Yes. I'm like, this is wild. The people who owned it, who were not big public people, but billionaires, and he wasn't letting the guy sleep. And I'm like, oh my God, I am kicking the ghost of Aaron Spelling out of Spelling Manor. This is about as wild as it gets. It was
Isn't
fun.
that crazy?
That's 50.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big place. 50 rooms.
Yeah,
go
and
to
I
each
did not.
room and-
50 bedroom. Yeah, it is.
It's crazy. Wow.
The goofiest things I've done, because I do clearings all the time. The apartment next door, lawyer's offices, a lot of agents' offices, because they get weird energy. But that's the weirdest and coolest. And then the other weirdest was Phil Spector's castle. Had to clear that, and that was dark.
Really?
He was the guy. He was that music producer who shot my friend Lana.
You knew her.
Famous. I did know her because we were like very similar everything. Hollywood girls. We did a lot of fundraiser stuff together. But he was a music genius. He invented that wall of sound and worked with everybody, all those Beach Boys and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had some Black Uzi stuff in his castle. He was in jail at the time. His then wife brought me in.
Yeah, well, I can imagine what was going on in that castle, and the negative energy that must have been there from a lot of because he didn't sound like a good person. He didn't sound like a really good guy. He was a genius with music, but as a person,
not so good.
So yeah, but wow. I'm saying wow because this is like things like I would love to be doing myself.
I know it's really great, but the thing is, it's so funny because most of the really cool stuff I do, I can't talk about at all, or who I work with, because there's this little thing called a non-disclosure agreement, NDAs, and I've signed like 20 pages of NDA with most of my clients. But I mean, that I can talk about, Aaron Spelling I can talk about, but I know, and I don't have pictures of all this stuff, but I know how lucky I am to get to go to these wild and crazy places.
That's like a dream for me to do all that stuff, because I really haven't been on the I haven't been on the West Coast doing investigations. One day we want to Lourdes, and they want to go to, because Ron does a lot with the Queen Mary, and they just reopened.
Yes, they did.
And they would want to get me go out there to do that, and so
you should. I love the Queen Mary. See, I was born in Long Beach. I grew up there. My high school prom was at the Queen Mary. I remember in high school, everybody got married there. I used to do murder mysteries there because my production company, I produced fancy murder mysteries on the Queen Mary. So haunted. Even during my high school prom, we snuck away, and I went down to the pool with the little girl ghost.
That's high school prom in Queen Mary. That's cool. We had it in the gym in my, big gym.
Regular suburban. Everybody did. Grad night, you go to Disneyland. Prom, you go to the Queen Mary.
Pam Harris would like to know: are you currently working on anything new?
I am working on all sorts of things new, and most of them I can't talk about. I'm really excited. I did just sign with Llewellyn to do a new book, which is great. And I'm part of another book, a Women Got Wild book on intuition. TV stuff I can't talk about, but yes, I work a lot, the stuff I can with my YouTuber guys, with the overnight guys. If you like a lot of the stuff like Ghost Adventures and all that, you will love the overnight guys because they're younger versions, just as dedicated and jumping into it. I have a new line. I'm really excited. I have a new line of magical panties out, which I brought them with me to the Parapod Festival. Panties. Patty's Power Panties. I have for years been telling people how important the color of your underwear is, the intent within your underwear, because you're putting it on your lowest thing. Somebody had told me years and years ago, like especially for Hollywood, anything really important, wear dark blue panties. And I'm thinking, well, is that just a wives' tale? Is it a witchy thing? But no, it's a high vibration color, and you're putting it on your lower, red and orange chakras down there. So now I've came up with a line. They're sigils, like they're known rune sigils. They have words, and they're the color. We have them for passion, for love, for wealth, for success, for protection. Some that say witch. We have rainbow. And I laid them out at the festival last week. I put them on a little clothesline, boys and girls panties. It's like, everybody does t-shirts. Who does panties? Me.
Yeah.
And they come with a little charging spell that you do. And then when you put them on, 3 deep breaths, and then you're putting on your intention, your psychic ability, your inspiration, your whatever. Mysterycontrol.com, Patty's Power Panties.
That is awesome. I love that idea.
I don't know if other people putting any panties on. I don't feel comfortable in panties. I'm sorry.
No, we have boys underwear too. I just call them all panties. We have several styles.
His face, I'm not comfortable.
It's like, yeah.
You don't want to model for me,
No.
Come on, Anthony, take one for the team.
No, I just wear red. I wear red all the time. I'm a red person. I wear red
panties
because I do wear red underwear. I'm giving my secret away.
Yes, and it is. It's powerful for you. Isn't it powerful for you? Don't they have intention?
I do. Yeah. Well, when I was growing up, the color red. My grandmother and all the parents, they always did the phenolic, the evil eye and stuff. And they used to use red. They used to put on the women put on their bras, or the man carries something red. They used to put like red ribbons pinned into them and stuff. So I always felt that the color red was like a protection. And I do a lot of investigating, and I'm always having something. So, I wear red.
See that? So you have your own power panties, Anthony. You don't need mine.
See, I got my own power panties.
And you have intention behind them, because what it means to you. So that's exactly the same.
So I mean,
this is
in your case, it wouldn't be panties for me. It'd be bloomers.
Okay, we have bloomers. You would ever words
power bloomers.
Well, I do have a feeling that this is Giuseppe. What a time to hop on and bam, power panties. Anthony goes commando.
Yep, that's fine. Giuseppe's the guy on my team. I'll be with him this weekend too.
I have a feeling that's him.
That's funny.
Do it, Anthony. Marianne says, do it, Anthony. I'm like, now I'm gonna be haunted. I know this weekend's gonna be the joke Santa with my underwear.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be asking what color your undies are.
I'm gonna have to start showing
them skivvies. So Patty, you've been to the Winchester house, right?
Yeah,
I thought so.
Yes.
Is that one of your favorites?
Yeah, I was there last year with somebody. Yeah, I love it because, I don't look places up. I certainly knew the history of Sarah Winchester and the Winchester Rifles, but this woman, I thought was a girl because she was so short, kept wanting to dance and dance, and her name was whatever it was. I didn't realize it was Sarah Winchester's just wanting to dance. Yeah, that's beautifully haunted. It's so beautiful and so weird. And
what I remember most vividly about you and being on shows was the Black Dahlia show. That is like one of my all-time favorite murder cases, and how it's not solved yet, and it's so it sticks with you. It really just grabs your heart. And I think it's more something like, because being a smaller woman, you could feel like the stature of the person, and she was just so invested in trying to get to fame, and she wanted to be loved at the same time, and just the murder itself is so gruesome and brutal.
And she was tortured before her murder. That's the guy who ripped the cartilage off my ribs. And well, when you come out to LA, we'll have to go to the house. I mean, it's hard to get in the house, but I didn't know if he's still there, the handyman. I did the Ghost Adventures there, and I did another show. I forget, a different TV show there. It went years before Ghost Adventures, where I did a seance, and that guy is dark. It just is dark. But it sticks with you. And I do think it was solved. The son, he's written all these books and things.
Yes.
He knows his dad did it. He's got like 13 girls he killed, but most of them weren't even noticed because they were working girls. So they didn't count so much. People didn't know.
Do you think it could have been a copycat also?
There could have been, but there's girls stuck at that house. There is girls. We actually crossed over one girl, not Elizabeth Short, but Fauna Hodel, who is the granddaughter and probable daughter of Hodel. She was on the show, The Ghost Adventures, with me. She contacted me years before because she saw me on the other show. And I think she just wanted to meet me, but then we became really close friends. And she said, I need to go in there. I need to help a girl. Her mother, Tamar Hodel, who's, it's on the movies, if you see the movies about it, had promised she would help this spirit girl cross over. And then all of a sudden, sorry, that's loud. I'm going to, I don't know how to turn it off. Wait.
Anthony, by the way, that whole panties comment about you going commando, that was Lourdes, your girl.
Yeah, Lourdes. She's, like I said, could have been any one of them. It's just going to be an ongoing thing.
Sorry, I'm back. I have 14 phones that are supposed to be on silent right now. Not silent.
There's always going to be one you miss.
Yeah. So anyway, but this girl, her mother on her mother's deathbed had promised she would help this girl. And she wouldn't die. She was in hospice and said, I get called to do the Ghost Adventures because I'd been working with the boys for a while. And then she got called because she was a Hodel. And we got to do the show together. And literally, you will not see this on the episode. We crossed over that girl. We all saw it. We all felt it. We created the light. Zach and Aaron and Billy, all of us felt it and saw it. We didn't get Elizabeth Short. She's still being held there, this guy, but we crossed over this girl. And then her mother, Tamar, was able to die soon after because that's what she was waiting to do. Sadly, because there's so much curse and bad stuff there. Fauna also got cancer and died before the movie about her came out.
So how often
Patty Jenkins did a movie. We used to sit in my not that often, but I have done it, two hands worth probably in all my years of doing things. Because mostly people are fine. They're crossed over. They just hang out because they like it. Even people in prisons, I think, hang out because that's what they knew. Yes, some are stuck. Oh my God, there's some stuck at the Cecil Hotel at just horrible things.
Hotel.
But a lot of people hang out because that's what they know. The
Cecil Hotel is one of my bucket lists.
Yeah, you got to go. You half block away, you will feel it.
My brother just turned on Gerard. I'm sorry, my brother. I never see him. Yeah.
He's never turned on before. So Patty, it must be you and not Anthony.
It's me and not Anthony. Yeah, Gerard and I go way back. Yeah, that place is so dark. I didn't the first time I went there. Again, Zach had called me a couple weeks before. He said, we're coming to LA and we need you. Okay, cool. Didn't hear from him. 2 weeks later, I got a call and he's like, we're here in LA. Can you get here in 2 hours? And I'm like, 2 hours? I'm a girl. Did I brush my hair? Do I have time to take a shower? What? I make it? I was at my brother's. And so I don't think he told me it was the Cecil. He just gave me a downtown address. So I'm getting there and I saw the water towers. I'm like, oh, that's this Alyssa Lamb place. I didn't know anything or remember anything about, Richard Ramirez or all the other murders, but
it's so creepy.
Horrid trance. I want to kill myself. Depression. It makes even the strongest, healthiest person just want to die. And now they're moving in homeless people. I want to go there and clear it. I want to gather every witch, priest, preacher, rabbi, shaman, hold hands and do a big kumbaya moment because the ambulances are pulling up every day. Homeless people don't even want to move into it, but those who are, it's hurting them bad. I was there Yeah, I
Anytime.
mean, I almost like jumped out a window on Ghost Adventures. Zach's yelling at me. I'm like, I just got to get out of here. I'm in a window that I'd led him right to somewhere, jumped out. When I was there soon after that with my YouTube guys, I thought I was channeling and I was rocking because I rock and I'm talking and I thought I was talking. All they heard was gibberish. And Corey, who's I've been working with, he goes, we should play that backwards. They played it backwards. I was speaking English backwards.
No.
I can't even do my alphabet backwards. Like if you asked me to spell my name, I'd be T-T-I-I-T-T-A-P. I don't know because I so opposite of dyslexic. But yeah, that place is horrific. There's so many egregores created there.
And the area around it used to be rich, and then now it's a bad area around there too.
It's Skid Row. It was never rich. It was built to be a luxury hotel in Marble, and the Depression hit right then. The big crash happened. It was so it's forever been a wannabe place. It could have been, and flop house kind of drug addicts and transients and so much sadness and negativity. It just leaks out every window.
Yeah.
I see some of the cases, people jumping, suicides,
throwing babies, jumping out the window, throwing people out the window, rapes and murders.
That's the one they found the woman in the water tank.
Tower. Yes. She'd been there for a couple weeks, and people had been drinking, wondering why the water tasted
drinking the water
so bad.
Sick. And that's the one that disappeared. She was on the elevator and she started acting crazy.
Yeah, that crazy elevator.
Yeah, I seen that.
There's like some kind of elevator game where you push a certain button and you go to that floor and then you like get out, look around, and then you get back in and then you push another button and then you do something else and then you
go to 6, go to 12. Yeah, we did it.
And what happened?
We weren't invited. I did it with the overnight guys, and we followed the exact +6, get out. If a woman gets in, do this. Nobody got in because no one's in the building except us. But it said if you get invited up to this, then you're in it. But we weren't invited up by the spirits. But we tried. It was scary. It was scary. It was Korean elevator game. We did it.
Yeah. I never really had an idea of what the building was, but I think once I watched the episode and it was kind of starting to get it was explaining what was there, what was happening, I started to understand a little bit more. And then when they said that the girl was found in the water tank, I was like, holy shit, that's the place. And then they started to explain about how Richard Ramirez was there and everything that was transpiring with everything. And then I was like, oh my God, this was really bad. And then they started to explain how there was a woman who was a prostitute and she was picked up and she was brought into the building. And then they started to show the woman who was in the elevator and she was there 1 minute and then she wasn't there another minute. And then it was like, what the hell happened in this place? Like it was almost like dark magic.
Now it's my turn. I'm like
hello.
What's going on tonight?
Did you order your Chinese food?
Yum.
No, it's my accountant. I probably owe money, so I'm getting my taxes done. So
yeah, and that really worried me when I heard that people were drinking the water. That it's just
that alone
disgusting. I mean, that I hate to say, but it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
It leaves a very bad taste in your mouth. And
no pun intended.
I and again, now it's run by the city, and the idea of it is brilliant. There's 1 million homeless people. There are 700 empty rooms. So this makes sense, but it just doesn't work unless it's cleared out because it just makes you want to die.
Yeah.
And people that have moved in, last time I looked, only 30 people had moved in so they'd rather live on the street in a cardboard box than live in the Cecil Hotel. But the people who had moved in were totally like walking zombies. I saw it. I not too long ago, can't do it often, and no one per se I said this, but I bribed my way in for like $100.
Well, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
So Ron,
oh, that's a good question. Hi, Ron. How are you guys doing? Hi. The biggest misconception about the supernatural, again, that it's evil. but either are evil, that something magical, because again, Hollywood's done a lot and we've done a lot. Like anything that we think, they say, oh, that's bad luck. Like the number 13 or breaking a mirror or walking under a ladder or black cat crossing your path. Those aren't bad luck. They're powerful. They could be really good. Nothing but more powerful than a broken mirror, or bad. You decide. But they, meaning society or the world, said anything powerful, that must be bad. So we would be sheep and followers. So I think that's the biggest, that the supernatural is part of the natural world. And early man knew it, and we were so connected to nature, whether you want to use nature words, religious words, pagan words, science words. I mean, it's always been this mystical place that we just tried to kill. So, and the same thing about witchcraft, that it is one of the most, it is the biggest growing religion in America right now. It is. And because you take responsibility for what you do. There is cause and effect. We are responsible. 12 Hail Marys or giving your life to Jesus won't make it go away if you are not bad, It's take responsibility for your life and who you're being, and take life and make it what you want, not because somebody else tells you to do it. And think for yourself.
I think a lot of people with the whole witchcraft thing, I can speak on that. I'm so sick of the whole, well, they have a green face, they have a wart on their nose, they have, they're just horrible people. It's so negative, and they're always casting spells and blah blah blah. That's not how we are. We're like, I tend to look at the emoji on the phone for like a witch, and it's this little old woman with gray hair, and she's got the witch hat and the broom, and she's just like, there are a lot of sexy ass witches out there.
Sexy ass witches. I know. I got to host the Witches Ball in New Orleans last year, and we were hosted by AMC. Oh my God. But yeah, and Yvonne and I were on stage spinning to Lasher.
I know she was so excited.
You know where the green came from? The green came from MGM, or the movies.
Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard, yes, because they'd already started making colored TV, and they decided green meant scary. Frankenstein was green. Monsters were green. So witches are evil. They must be green. Hollywood decided that evil was green. That's it. Yeah. There's nothing. But
people only knew that it was like love and light and do no harm. And I mean, if you piss us off, a lot of us are going to go gray. We're going to, an eye for an eye. We're going to come back at you with whatever it is. A lot of us have karma bouncers. That's going to take care of you, not us. Don't screw with us.
Don't screw with us. Yes. So I think that's a good question.
I've never met a green witch. I never met a green witch or what.
Not yet, Anthony.
Yeah. Maybe Maureen's hiding something. I don't know. Maybe Maureen has something
we have
going
all
on
this beige makeup on underneath.
The makeup.
But I think, what I think about the paranormal, how I'm turning, when times are scary, people in the olden days would always go back to your religion, go back to your belief system, go back to church, go back to temple, go back to mosque, go back to whatever that is. And times have been scary the last couple of years with COVID and pandemics and unrest. So people have gone back to traditional religion. Some people, that's not keeping up for them enough. It's like, well, I'm gay, so I can't be, whatever it is, not keeping enough. So a lot of alternative religions are coming up, New Age and crystals. And of course, the witchcraft, the largest growing, and going pagan and all sorts of old religions. But I think there's a lot of people, they don't want a religion, and they don't even want spirituality. They just want to know there is something more than they see on their TV screen every day. They want to know there's more than Putin and this and that. They're becoming paranormal investigators. It's the new religion for people who don't want religion, because they want to know there's something more than this. If I can go talk to a ghost at Gettysville, then I know that I'm okay, that if we all get blown up by Russia next week, and then a lot of times they will then backdoor discover a faith or belief system, because I believe your belief system is just so you can navigate whatever one. If you want to choose a Judeo-Christian template or a pagan template or a New Age template or a paranormal investigator template or an alien template, it's how you navigate. It's different words.
True.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see Ron's already started with me.
I had to put that one up.
Yeah. Sandwich. Let's go to the beach.
Who loves sandwiches?
We're going. We're going to the I do the Hinsdale this weekend. I'm going with them, and I pick up all the Italian cold cuts from the Italian butcher, and I always feed them. They got all the prosciutto and the capicola, all the good stuff, and now Ron doesn't get a sandwich this weekend.
Did you make a sandwich or do you make a sandwich?
I sang a sandwich.
Sandwich.
This
Sandwich.
big on a hero. You kidding? I think you got the semolina bread and everything. So yeah, we feed. Everybody's getting fed this weekend except for Ron now. So
No.
Well, now he came back. He came back with some glory. Love all three of you. A great show.
okay,
So
he
now
gets
you can have a
now.
sandwich. Okay.
You can have his sandwich. Yes.
Thanks,
yes.
Ron. We love you. Somebody said I let their own negative behavior come back around to them. That's my way of getting them back. I agree with that. I think unless it's something where you really feel like you need to jump in, just let it go. I mean, it's not really worth the time, but I think there is a karma bouncer. I've seen it. I've seen it for myself.
Yeah, I do too. And I use a lot of like mirror protection. It's even in my book. You surround yourself with imaginary mirror, but that everything negative bounces off. And I like making it mirror because then if somebody is throwing shade at you or whatever, they're going to kind of see how ugly they look. And they're going to kind of see how unattractive they are. They're kind of going to see through it and see it didn't even hurt or affect you. So they don't get the payoff. So next time they don't throw so hard. All the good stuff gets in your little mirror egg, but none of the bad stuff. And you sit there going, love and light, peace, rock on,
Yeah, I agree with that. That's definitely true. So you have Paracons coming up. We know that you co-own your channel. So
Paraflix.
What is it? Yeah, Paraflix. So what is it about Paraflix that what drove you to be an owner for that channel? Was it that it's just so paranormal that we have to jump on this, or was it that you found things in it that you just loved so much that you couldn't turn yourself away from it?
No, we created it together. So no, there was nothing. I remember I met Natalie because she was going to plan a Paracon in Texas. And I met Nick, who he was just this kid. It was this young, he was 12 at the time, practically. No, he was a grown up, I think. In this Italian kid in the island of Jersey. And he wanted me to do a Instagram live, and that turned into Haunted Diary, which eventually turned into University Magicus. But Natalie said we should start a streaming service because you guys know we've already seen everything on Travel Channel 3 times. We've seen everything on Discovery Plus 4 times. They're starting to cancel all these shows since Warner bought it. They're canceling everything, not just paranormal shows. I've read to it. So it's like we've seen everything, and we knew how much talent was out there because again, I work with a lot of the top YouTubers and going, these are just as good as anything on the other network. Let's make a really good home base that's affordable and give people a chance. You want to create a show? Give us a show. We have standards. We have standards that you got to be good. But so for $3.99 a month, we have 90% new content.
That's awesome. And it's all
we got to get a Paraflix maybe one day.
Yes. You even put your podcast on it. We have podcasts.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
That would be great.
Yes.
We're
always looking for good content.
Yeah. So I had an idea for a TV show, and we couldn't find someone to pick it up. And it kind of just dropped off, and it was such an amazing idea and such a great concept. But we couldn't find anybody who would pick the show up. Plus we needed the funding for it, but this would have been a great way to do it too. That's the thing. Cause
again, I'm born and raised in this town, and I've had a million great ideas, and maybe you get as far as a sizzle reel and somebody gives you 20 grand to do a sizzle reel, or maybe they shoot it themselves, or maybe not, or here's your one sheet, or here's your deck and this and that. or maybe you shoot a whole pilot, but it's hard. It's rare that they get picked up. But now, if you're going to shoot that, give it to us and put it up and create your own show. I mean, we're still looking for more and more subscribers, but I think, per click pay more than like Amazon does. Again, we don't have as many subscribers yet, but we will.
Yeah, and I love
we would love to be on. I've been watching Powerflix. I've been watching Dan Cleese on his shows, and now I'm starting to get more and more into it. And it's a great. I mean,
that's for Dan show.
It's something that I could relate to. You know, what I mean, being a paranormal investigator, this is what I could relate to a lot because I watch shows on TV and stuff, and on some of the network, like you said, they're sometimes I think they're just acting. Some of the people that are on there for ratings.
Yeah, but they're not there from the passion of it, right?
Yeah, they're not into it. I mean, I do so much stuff, and I don't get paid. I just do it because this is what I want. This is what I do.
So much.
You know what I mean? And that's why I started liking Powerflix.
That's what we did.
The people on it is great.
The people with the passion, like the show Dan's on with Rob Thompson. Ghost Finders, they're in their 14th season, I think, completely self-produced and professionally produced. They get sponsors, they'll get whatever, everybody helps out, and they're doing it.
Yeah.
That'd be really awesome.
Yeah, maybe one day we get help. We'll talk.
We'll talk.
We'll talk.
We'll talk. Hey, we'll make an offer you can't refuse. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
And a sandwich, nice Italian sandwich.
So Pam Harris says, Patty, we have a mutual friend, Mandy. She just called me from Hawaii and she said hello.
Tell her hello. Mandy with the curly hair. I love Mandy. Yay. It's a small, we have a small community, the magical community, the witchy community, the paranormal community. It's a worldwide tiny community.
It is. Even though it's worldwide, people think that, there's so many people that are involved in it. It might seem like there are a lot of people, but it really isn't. We do act as a family.
Yeah.
It's very
That's
small.
why I love the Paracons, and they're so fun.
I've been noticing, because we're on the East Coast, and a lot of people that I know that are part of these projects and all these different things, we're not known as well on the West Coast, and you got people there that's not known on the East Coast.
Right.
Except you got, like you and, people that got on shows and stuff like that. But it's so many people that are out there that doing this just for the passion and just get, the teams together or whatever. And I find that very interesting because I would love to get together with people on the West Coast and have them come here or we go there and, investigate so we know each other a little more. And it's always different techniques you could learn. I don't care how long you're doing this. You're always something you can learn new.
I learn every day. Yeah,
me too. It's like every time you work with someone, you can learn from a guy that's doing it for a year. They come up they got all these different ideas coming in. You're like, hey, maybe that will work. And then you use their technique and you work together with them and you show some of the old stuff. And, it's always a learning. It's always learning. I'm always learning something with this,
Same. I mean, you can never know everything.
Yeah, no, that's why I love to.
And then jump off a cliff the second you think you know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your ego is going to get real and it's going to be different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
bye, Marianne. Thank you for watching. She said, "Have to go." Great show.
Yeah. Marianne, she's great. Marianne, I think we did Penhurst together. She invited us out to Penhurst, and Penhurst is another place. I don't know what you've done on the East Coast, Patty, but I know Penhurst is.
I've not done Penhurst.
You're East Coast, I forget where I am.
I have not done that much on the East Coast. Again, not too far east. I've got some in the middle. I've done Missouri State Penitentiary. I did the Chicago Joliet Prison. I did a little tour with the overnight guys, but there's a lot I haven't done. Next
If
week
you
we'll
ever
be at
come up,
Broadhead in
let us know.
Wisconsin.
If you
I
come up,
will. I
let us
will.
know.
And you come to LA, and I'll
Sure.
show you all.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll set you
our
up the Shanley
ghosts.
Hotel. The Shanley Hotel.
Yeah.
We're friends with the owner. That place is awesome. You know?
I would love it.
So, matter of fact, they were on the show last week. You know, the owner, Kelly and Tracy.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, you ever come here, we'll set something up and we go there. We'll definitely contact you. You know?
Yes, I'll show you. I like the Happy Ghost in Hollywood. Like when it's hanging from the chandelier at the Roosevelt and even American Legion. Mostly of those ghosts are happy. But we can go to all the scary places because what you guys have East Coast is you have older than we do because you're older. You're hundreds of years older. The oldest things we have are the mining towns, which we do them all. Vulture City and Virginia City and Nevada City and Butte, Montana, and all this stuff, which is great. But they're still not as old as some of the places you guys have.
We got this one place, White Hill Mansion. It's in Jersey. It's 50 years before the United States became the United States.
Wow.
And so it's like unbelievable. And I think the revolution, what was it? Wow. It's getting late. I'm forgetting my own name right now.
It's called Old Timers.
The what do you call it? Oh wow, not Revolutionary War. I'm saying it right. They were there. You know, the soldiers from the German that they
the Hessians.
Yeah, they actually were there. Yeah, somebody wrote it was from. I think that's Lourdes, the Facebook user.
He said White Hill.
Yeah, that's Lourdes. Yeah, 1723. Yeah, that's Lourdes. Yeah, and it has such history there. And you just walk on the ground, you can feel the energy. You go in there and the building, it's such energy. You know, if it come down, we got places that we would love to have you come with us, and we'll show you.
You show me yours, I'll show you mine. You guys come west.
Show me yours.
We'll go eat. And then I'll pull out some panties out of my purse.
Yeah, I'll show you my red bloomers.
Yeah.
I always say skivvies.
So,
red skivvies.
You have stuff coming up. So if you want to start plugging stuff, or this is.
Sure. Next week, I'm going to be at Spirits in the Spring at Broadhead, Wisconsin, which is going. All sorts of cool people are going to be there. If you want to find out, go to shadowhunterspara.com. To April 22nd. It's kind of a one-day show. I'm only going to be there 3 days. Then I'm really excited. Again, going to what's old. I'm going April 26th through 30th. I'll be at the Copper Queen in Bisbee, Arizona. That's intimate. It is me and maybe 20-something people because that's all the hotel. We're going to be doing investigations and seances and hanging out. Just this little thing in Bisbee, Arizona, which I've never been. Then I'm going to be at Miracles of Joy in Dallas, and that's a real witchy weekend. People wants to do witchy craft classes and doing, the seances and galleries and all those things that we do. But it's a really fun educational small group too. June 2nd and 3rd, I'll be at Pacific Coast Paracon with Stefan Brigatti. I don't know if you guys know him. He teaches at the school. He's with Pacific Coast. He's beautiful paranormal investigator. He works at this 1930s really haunted theater in Ventura, California, which is just outside of LA. Really haunted, beautiful, fun ghosts there too. That's first week in June. And then Hex Fest in New Orleans, I think. But there's so much. Just go to my website, pattynegri.com, because then you can see all 20 places, and you can get to my social media where I post everything. Because I'm one of those people that get lots of fake social media, so make sure you go to a verified page. And I'm not going to contact you until you need a reading. But you can get to all the right pages from there. But yeah, sign up for my newsletter. I don't send very often, but when I do, they're interesting. It's fun. I'll bring my books and my panties.
Your books and your panties.
Patty
what else do you need? What else do you need? Your books and your panties.
What else do you need? Something to read and something to put on. And t-shirts that go in. Yeah. And my book's called Old World Magic for the Modern World. And it's a witchy, but you don't have to be a witch or it literally simple life hacks to get you through. Like, why a pinch of salt in the toilet would help release stuff. It's simple life hacks. Like, yes, it's great to meditate for an hour, but I usually have 30 seconds to pull it together. So I have these elemental exercises, love stuff, weight loss stuff, health, just day-to-day life. And you can get that on Amazon or my website, but Amazon's probably faster, ebook, audiobook, or print. And then all sorts of new stuff come in. Yeah. And hopefully seeing you guys soon.
Oh, you're going.
At the Mass Paracon, yes. I can't wait to go. And I know Ron Giacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez are definitely going to be doing that. You guys see what they're doing now with White Noise. It's something totally different from what you were doing last week, and it's so clear. It's so clear. You're going to be like, whoa.
Full-blown conversations, not just like one word, full conversations.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I was blown away by them last year. When we were up there doing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. You wait to this year what they came up with, and I'm like, they're working with Tony. I forgot Tony's name. Tony Rathman and Sherry Rathman from their Paracon. See, I'm getting tired now.
You guys do a long show.
Podcast.
We do.
Yeah.
We like to make sure that whomever we interview, they get to say everything that they want, and we love to have fun with our guests, so that we think once an hour starts, we get like rolling at that point. So we want to have fun with them and get, the personal part of them out and really have a good time with them.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It is fun.
I hope you had a good time tonight.
I had a great time tonight. You guys are great hosts. You're fun.
Thank you.
And see, we obviously have lots of mutual friends in our mystical, magical, paranormal world.
That's how it usually is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. We're going, like I said, we're going to get to see it. I'm going to even get to do like a little session, with the radio and stuff. Well, this spirit box. I'm sorry. It's not a spirit box, Ron. He's going to yell at me.
He'll yell at you. He will yell at you.
It's not a spirit box. It's so you're going to be able to do that together and everything. That's going to be great. Work together.
So if somebody wants a reading, Patty, how do they get in touch with you? Is that just going on to thepattynegri.com?
Just click the Book Patty button. No other way, because there is so many scam artists. Just only way to do it is through my website. You click the Book Patty, and then you pick what you want, and then time and day. It adjusts time zones and everything, and then it sends you a Zoom link. It's really easy.
That is
easy.
Super easy.
Very, very reachable and very, very approachable, attainable. Email is usually the best, better than texting or better than social media. Social media can get lost, that social media messaging, because there's so many different Facebook pages. So it's like, was that on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook this page or Facebook that page? So Patty at pattynegri.com. It's easy.
That's really nice too, because when I was sending you information, I thought it would be buried because you would be getting so much, but you were like right on the ball. You got back to me. You had the information. So you're super organized. I love that.
I try. I some days are probably better than others, but I do try.
I'm sure. But that's awesome. So if anybody wants a reading from Patty, go to pattynegri.com and click on Book Patty and see what she has available for you. You were voted #1 psychic in the country.
Number 1 in the country.
International.
He's #1 international.
How can you go wrong there?
And again, I don't know what that means, but all I do know is that I give it my all. That's it. I don't let my own belief systems get in the way. I don't let anything. I'm real picky. About reading. So your prices are on my page, and I'm really not that expensive.
Can you give like a general reading as like a group to kind of go by for the next day or week, or just to let everyone know positively what you feel?
Okay. Again, I'm not like a prediction psychic because again, that takes away free will. So, but we are in a weird time right there. There's a lot of angst going on. There's a lot of everything in the world. I don't know if it's planetary, all this stuff. So everybody, my whole thing is unless it's 28,000 degrees below, get outside a little bit and just breathe a lot. Work with whatever works for you. I'm a big dragon girl. I'm a big tree hugger, but works with whatever works for you. Take that time for yourself. It's going to get a little crazier, I do think, but we're going to come out better. It's like the Tower card. Anybody who reads tarot, it's tough, but we're going to be, it's the hard stuff that's the good stuff. So anything that gets real scary, fear can freeze you in your tracks, or fear can inspire you. I live in a town that's $1 million business. So, jump in, unless it's somebody putting a gun at you, that kind of fear, that's different. But it's like, ooh, I don't want to speak up for myself. I don't want to make that phone call. Do it the same way as like, I'm scared to ride that roller coaster, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Do you believe if you take your shoes off and ground, you ground yourself? I know I do that.
I will, any way I can. Yes, you can get outside in the dirt or something if you can, with or without shoes. My big things about grounding is salt and iron. If there's any place you could touch iron, and a lot of old places there are iron rails, iron cans, iron will ground you. If you have a lodestone or something, and salt. Like even on my little friendly seances around the table, I have people do sugar before. It's an old Victorian thing. They did it for magic, but I think it's blood sugar. So it'll heighten all your senses. Sugar before, make sure you're not hungry on investigation or working or ritual work, and salt and iron afterwards. And protect yourself. Again, work within your belief system, whatever that is. If you work with God or Christ light or dragons or angels or aliens, make sure you close this little portal on the back of your head, because that's the biggest one we got that spirit gets in. You want to open this one up to see spirit. You want to close that one back there so nothing gets in.
See, I'm an electrician, so I believe in a lot of grounding, and that makes sense. Grabbing a metal, something that smells the ground. I mean, just your water inside, the cold water in your house, just to let you know, that's how they ground your fuse box and everything. So just grabbing the faucet. I mean, that makes sense. That goes that because the way the wire, it's wired right into the dirt outside your building. It's right. So that makes a lot of sense. So you don't really have to leave your house to take your shoes off. you don't. Grab that to ground yourself. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, anything natural help ground. Wood. If you can't get out and hug a tree, wood has got the strength of a tree with deep roots. Grab a pencil, a number 2 pencil. That still has the spirit of the tree. Touch the granite countertop, the hardwood floor, the wood thing. Between your intent and this still has the spirit of that tree.
Wow. That's awesome. I never thought of any of that, really. I thought you go outside, take your shoes off, and you ground that way.
Well, if you could do that, yes. If you could do that, but it might be 30 degrees, and you might not be up there. Might, but
Yeah, so that makes sense. Wow.
So Uvi's going to be the last question of the night, and she says, "How do water spirits work?" I guess she's talking about water sprites.
I'm not sure. Well, water. I mean, I work with a lot of elementals. We have air and fire and water and earth. Earth is ground and grounding and, tree spirits and things. Fire would be more of the passion, working with dragons, working with firefly. Air is getting into airts and things. But water usually attaches, I don't know what water sprites are per se, but the water element always attaches to emotion. So that's the flow of things. Also, the mist of the ancestors that rise. So
I have a little water sprite.
We can get into mermaids and mermens and water sprites, and but I don't know how they work. I'm sorry.
Well,
we'll
I have
one next time.
I have one that's in my house, and it's I have a curio with water globes, like the the kind that you shake up and they have the little
Yeah, I
cookie.
love that. Yeah.
And I had an SLS camera I was walking through the house with, and all of a sudden I see this tiny little creature inside of the water globe cabinet. And I said, can you come out and jump up and sit on my finger? And it literally jumped out of the cabinet, sat on my finger, and it just kind of sat there. And I said, can you move around a little bit? And it kind of like just like ding, 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 ding. And it like moved around. And then it jumped back in the cabinet. And I said, well, that was short. Can you just come back out and sit with me? And it just came back out and it sat on my finger. It was like just a tiny
Wow.
little thing. Yeah, so that was really cool to see that happen. But from what I understand, they're kind of like mischievous creatures, and they like
Most elementals are.
Yeah.
Like
So-
Faye. You have to keep
Mhm.
Faye in line.
Yeah, and they steal things in the house, like keys will go missing and then they'll show up someplace else. But
They're
it was cool.
bribable. Honey,
It was-
whiskey, cream, shiny
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, like women. But yeah, and then my husband kind of yelled at it to like, what the hell is that thing? Get that out of the house! And then all of a sudden, gone.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it was
That
really
is
neat. I
awesome,
love that.
Maureen. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have some weird creatures in this house once in a while. I think that they just like to come and see, what the entertainment value is, and then they see how long they could stay. And
Yeah, I get a lot. I have a really big backyard for being in the middle of Hollywood, and it's a total fairy garden and fairy stuff. I have my one haunted doll Belle. I've got a ghost who lives here who bought the house in the 60s. She died in 98, and she was still here when we moved in spirit in 2002.
that's
So I
cool.
have an active house. Yeah.
I have kind of like a vampire type thing that's here, and he just kind of stands at the doors. He's almost like the bouncer of the house.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I have some things that just kind of like linger. There's a guy from like a mafia era type thing in a zoot suit. There's some people that
What's
just
wrong
kinda
with
like,
him? Hey, what's wrong with him?
Hey, there's nothing wrong with
Hey,
him.
there's
How you
nothing wrong.
doing?
What's your problem?
But he stands at
Forget
the end of the
about
house.
it.
It's like a super highway in my downstairs in the hallway, and they just kind of show up and they do their thing, and I let them go, and they don't bother anybody. They just hang out.
It's
Yeah.
fun to have visitors.
Yeah, it is. I
I-
like to talk to them.
I got stuff coming all the time back and forth, and I got to a point that when I see something, I just welcome, come sit down, watch TV with me, and they don't stay long. Years ago, I was always they always stayed, and they were mischief around the house. But I got to a point that's like, can't do nothing about them. You're welcome. I welcome it, and I actually feel the couch go down next to me sometimes when I welcome them.
They probably just want to watch a different shows than you do. So they.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
as long as they don't take over the remote. Hey, the remote's mine.
Click, 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 click. I've had them do that though
remote's
too. No, don't change the channel. Yeah.
I have to shut the TV off a couple of times, so the TV go off like, oh, come on, I was watching that.
Well, we are wrapping up tonight. We won't keep you any longer. So
Yeah.
this is another episode of Dimensions of the Supernatural with Maureen Grudzinski, Anthony Simonelli, and our favorite, Patty Negri. This is Dimensions of the Supernatural. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Thank you
And
so much.
remember, forget about it.
That's right.